Every once in a blue moon, you uncover something on the internet that seems nearly too good to be true. It seems like you've been gifted a beautiful story that you don't even actually believe. I get tagged in about 5 of these a day. You know, whether it be some weird story over here or some weird story over there. Most of the time, they're not real or they're not nearly as cool as I think they are. But this one is just downright cool because we are talking. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I promise you it leads to a cool story. We are talking about T20 cricket qualifying because it also has to do with Football Manager and it has to do with this guy. Let me see if I can find the right picture of him. This guy right here. His name is Tony Gavorko. Now, if you've heard of Tony Gavorko before, it is probably because you are currently looking at a goalkeeping coach in Football Manager, like a goalkeeping coach that you can hire in Football Manager. But you might be thinking, wow, that's not a goalkeeping coach type outfit. What is Tony Gavorko wearing in this particular instance? Well, that would be a Croatia national team jersey for cricket because Tony Gavorko is Kiwi Croat. He is from New Zealand and also Croatian. And he plays for the Croatian national cricket team while being the goalkeeping coach for Melville United in the New Zealand League. He is a C-licensed goalkeeping coach in OFC that, again, you can hire in Football Manager. This is his page. Now, obviously, that picture seems to be him a bit younger. He is 53 years old now. He's 52 at the time that this picture was taken. And you know what? He's a pretty decent goalkeeping coach, I've been told. I've never actually seen his attributes, but type of guy that, you know, you might want to pick up, might be able to improve your backroom staff. Now, you might be wondering how I know that he is a C-licensed goalkeeping coach in OFC. Well, let me show you his LinkedIn page, which I happen to have uncovered while searching up Anthony Gavorko, C-license here, their goalkeeping coach at Melville United, and he's a contracts manager, a business owner. He is apparently, he's had a career as an IT contracts manager. He worked for 16 years at Oceania Distribution Limited. He was a goalkeeping coach at One Stop Goalkeeping in Hamilton, New Zealand, head of academy goalkeeping at Melville United. I'm assuming he then got promoted to head of goalkeeping at Melville United, which is all awesome, right? This guy he's making a career for himself as a goalkeeping coach, but he is also dominating it on the cricket scene because you might not know much about the Croatian national cricket team, but what you should know is that they actually put on quite the display in T20 cricket qualifying with this guy, Tony Gavorko, as their wicketkeeper. Now, I have absolutely no idea what that means. I'm assuming it's the type of position that you can play at the advanced age of 53, as Tony Gavorko is now, according to this article, on latestly. I don't even really know how to say that. But they do a little profile on Tony Gavorko, and he has managed to inspire quite a round of performances. It made me dive into a Wikipedia page that I don't understand to a truly troubling extent, where we can see that Croatia managed to finish second in this group. They finished ahead of Belgium, Switzerland, and Serbia in qualifying and just behind Jersey, but in Croatia's defense, Jersey is, pretty competent island overall. Croatia then ended up losing in the third place playoff against Germany, which was just a rankings thing. They weren't actually able to qualify for the T20 World Cup, but honestly, finishing fourth in qualifying to make it to the T20 World Cup, you got to be, I think it was like in the top 2 or something to be able to actually make it through. So I think Jersey might be going. That could be cool for them. Even though I have informed you of all of that, I barely understand what's going on here. I mean, apparently in T20 cricket qualifying, Croatia can play against Serbia. FIFA considers that illegal, so maybe they should be taking notes from cricket qualifiers, or perhaps the emotional investment in cricket qualifiers just isn't as great as perhaps it should be. The Croatia v. Jersey match was abandoned Now, what I do understand from this page, and especially because Tony Gvorko was playing, if Croatia and Jersey had been allowed to play against each other, the match was abandoned due to rain, I believe Croatia might have been able to put itself into the T20 World Cup. I mean, how could you not? In the safe hands of Tony Gvorko. That looks like a man that worked for a shipping company for 16 years back there. My question is, and this is an important question, how on earth did the Croatian Cricket Federation find out that they could put Tony Gvorko back in this position? Because he is not somebody that has played a lot. It is not a situation where Tony Gvorko has played for like 40 years for the Croatian cricket team. He has, as far as I can tell from these stats, 4 appearances, right? Like I think his debut was literally against Belgium in this qualifying. They just flew him over to Europe for 6 days or something because obviously he's still working at Melville United in New Zealand. So I am very curious to know how the Croatian cricket team identified a 53-year-old goalkeeping coach and managed to bring him over. Now, according to this article, because I am now super emotionally invested in this and I will follow these threads to the end of the earth, he might have appeared before for for New Zealand, for I would assume the main New Zealand team. This person, somebody on r/cricket said, I think he's also been a substitute fielder for New Zealand for a whole day of a test match. I think it was 2 to 3 decades ago. Well, probably. I mean, 2 to 3 decades ago, he would have been, rocking 20s, 30s. He could have been a substitute fielder for New Zealand. But what's interesting is nobody seems to know for sure. I think the most likely situation is that our legend, Tony Gvorko, has been keeping up playing basically amateur cricket in New Zealand and then just reached out to the Croatian National Federation and said, hey, I'm Croatian. I would love to come in and be a wicketkeeper. And then he just played in all 4 games in qualifying. Now, obviously, Croatia wasn't able to make it. So my next question goes straight out to Tony Gvorko, legendary goalkeeping coach of Melville United. Tony, are you going to play again? And at what point are you actually going to call it a career? And how is it economically viable for the Croatian cricket team to be flying people all the way from New Zealand to play in all of these qualifiers? Who's funding all of this? That is not a cheap flight in the first place. I have so many questions about this entire situation. I know it wasn't Tony Gvorko funding it unless he made a bunch of money from all of his shipping work, because his wage listed in Football Manager 24 is £0. So it doesn't appear that Melville United is actually paying Tony Gvorko. So maybe the Croatian Cricket Federation's paying him a little bit. I don't know. Tony Gvorko, though, he's in it for the love of the game. And maybe more goalkeepers should become wicketkeepers, because clearly being a goalkeeping coach for the last however many years has kept up his wicket-keeping skills. And also, a 53-year-old playing in World Cup qualifying of any kind means that it's not over for any of us. We still have a chance. We can still make it to major, I don't know if this would be considered major, but like some version of international sport. We will be there. I will just learn how to be a wicketkeeper and find my long-lost relatives from a country that desperately needs one. It seems very easy, honestly.